Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you have never been here before. Welcome back if you have, and welcome home if that feels like a thing for you, depending on this week, these energies, these messages, and how they resonate for you. Please, as always, pick up what feels like it's resonant and leave what is not. We are talking about the week of July the 24th through the 30th, 2023. Let's get right in. We start this week with a Libra moon. That moon quincunxes Jupiter, opposes Chiron, and quincunxes Uranus. Okay, so Monday, some things, like thoughts and feelings, may loom very large. Self-doubt and some old storying may creep into your consciousness, right, and try to bloom. It might prove challenging to refocus, and then when you do, more of the same B-roll might start up again. Remember, please, that you have created your new story, and that you are telling it and retelling it all the time, and let that be enough, right? Some of that new story, it might even include how you're smart enough to know when it's a day that you need to go to bed early, when it's a day that you need to disengage, when it's a day that you need to dig into some self-care, any of those things, right? Absolutely apply. Just remember that your self-care needs to be self-care, not distraction or avoidance. How about that? Yeah, just tell the story. On Tuesday, the 25th, we've got that Libra moon. It's going to sextile Mercury. It's going to quincunx Neptune, sextile Venus, and square Pluto. Around lunchtime, that moon will move into Scorpio, and then she's going to square the moon and trine Saturn. So on Tuesday is the second exact square perfection with Pluto in the nodes, right? And this time we have the moon conjunct, and I really think the moon is conjunct the south node. Anyway, it's a little bit more personal, right? Especially with the sun in Leo, having that T-square energy as well. So mind your ego, just rein it in, right? Remember that speaking your heart is always critical, but remember that those others that you get to speak to about that you get to express to, have the right and responsibility to do the same thing. And if the story that you're telling is about union, we have to remember that how willing we are to take up that middle ground with love is 100% how that story is not only going to play out, but how that story is going to progress, and how we're going to meet it in process as we experience our story through the coupling, through the zippering, through the progression with others, right? On Wednesday, the 26th of July, that beautiful Scorpio moon is going to sextile Mars, oppose Jupiter, and then Mercury in Leo is going to quincunx retrograding Neptune very later in the evening. So this is a day with elements of the theatric embedded as drama, right? Always exciting. Always exciting. So if your goal is real understanding and to have that kind of see and be seen, feel and be felt authenticity in your relationship, you're going to have to lose the spiraling and the volume. And so if you're going to choose authentic and choose clarity, that's always your highest expression. Even if you have to talk things through, and even if it's uncomfortable to do that, clarity and authenticity are always going to be for the win, right? So no matter what. On Thursday, the 27th, that Scorpio moon is going to quincunx Chiron and oppose Uranus. Mercury in Leo will conjunct Venus. The moon will trine Neptune, will square Venus and Mercury. and then sextile Pluto. And in the evening, the moon will move into Sagittarius, right? And before the day turns, Mercury in Leo, quincunxes Pluto. So feelings of suspicion or insecurity might be with you even as you wake up. You know, sometimes you wake up and have that funk going on. That's okay. You definitely have the clarity and self-possession to express those feelings. And if you do that, right, know that you're doing your part. And remembering that in between, right, might be staticky, and it might have the lack of, or the appearance of the lack of, right, clear reception. And if that's the case, it might get you feeling some kind of way. But here's the thing. Remember that just because we believe we have clarity when it comes to our feelings, and just because we believe that we're expressing in the correct way, that hearer might need a little more time. And that's okay, right? Be content that the fact that your contribution is enough, and resolution might have to wait. And here's why. Just because you've done the work to discover your feelings and your expression is genuine, that person who's hearing gets time to process. You know, you can't confront someone and expect to get their true and real response over their reaction. And what that means is that sometimes when you drop something in somebody's lap, you have to expect that they need a little bit of time to work through their reactivity around it. And if you want their best response, you're going to give them that time, right? Yeah, or at least give them the opportunity to claim that time. Some people have beautiful responses. Some people have done the work, but a lot of people haven't. So sometimes you just have to give a little bit, right? On Friday, the 28th, that Sag moon is going to trine the Sun, square Saturn and Mars. And around 4:30 in the afternoon Central Time, Mercury will move into Virgo. Later in the evening, the Sag moon will quincunx Jupiter. This is an exciting day. This is our third exact perfection of that Pluto squaring the nodes. Today, Mercury gets involved, sextiling and trining each of them. Well, yeah, and quincunxing Pluto. So the relationship with self is really challenged today. Can you transform your self-image at depth? And this is really what that Pluto nodes transit at this time, that square, is all about. And if you haven't yet listened to the video about that, I invite you to go find that and do that now. Here's the thing. The difference between mindset and doing the work is the story that your heart tells you, not the one that you're telling the world. And what I mean by that is mindset is I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It's telling a different story. Doing the work is actually going in and finding the belief, the barrier to why you might think you can't, right? That is the difference between mindset and doing the work. And the thing is, sometimes they can both have the appearance of allowing you to move through an obstacle, but the difference is whether or not you're going to call that back in later, right? And that's the difference really between shifting your mindset and actually doing the work. And the thing is that getting shit done is not proof of worth. It's not proof of progress. That comes out in your own self-expression. And remembering that your own amplification is evidence. That's the evidence. What is it that you're calling in? And that tells you whether or not you've done the work or whether you've just created a mindset construct. Sometimes they can appear the same, but you, again, know them by the story that your heart is telling you. Yeah, you know, that's a thing that we feel. On Saturday the 29th, that Leo sun is going to quincunx Saturn. Oh, thank you. Early in the morning. The moon in Sag will trine Chiron. I'm so sorry, I'm doing all these things. Will quincunx Uranus and square Neptune before trining Venus near the end of the day. And then like 10:45-ish at night, the moon will move into Capricorn. So this is a day of daring, right? You have the opportunity to choose to do something that you've never done before. Make those plans, right? Don't overthink it. Just dive in. And so if you need to laugh, if you need to scream, if you need to yell, that's okay. Just make sure that you're doing it. And if you want, go ahead and do it with somebody who feels like home, right? And as you reflect upon it later, and you will, make sure that you're telling the story about your own bravery. Not, holy crap, what was I thinking? Not, oh my goodness, I just blew a bunch of money on something crazy. No, erase that story. Tell it like, holy crap, I crushed it today. I was so brave, right? Tell that story of your courage. On Sunday, the 30th, that Capricorn moon is going to trine Mercury, sextile Saturn, quincunx the sun, and then Venus in Leo is going to quincunx Neptune. And I see that Cap moon is going to trine Mars and trine Mars and then trine Jupiter. So it's a great day to get shit done. And here's the deal. You are all in it. Even if it's a long-term project, even if it's not something you're going to complete today, that's okay. The driver is this sense of home, right? And that applies today to both real, right, your concrete, tangible 3D space, and the space of your vision of home, your experience of home, right? What it looks like, what it tastes like, what it smells like, all those things. And so as you're working, tell the new story and attach it to all of the work that you're doing. And no matter whether this is a deep cleaning venture, a decluttering venture, a decorating venture, a redecorating venture, or all of the above, make sure that you are embedding that vision into every bit of work that you're doing so that you can grow it, so that you can amplify it, right? The key is to make sure that you're minding your purpose as you do this work, because that's the energy that you're going to call in. That's the energy from which you're creating. And so just be mindful of that, right? Let's dive in, shall we please? So on Monday, we're talking about the Magician and the Ace of Swords. This is a day we talked about thoughts and feelings looming large, right? The Magician is that energy of elemental creation, right? This is the number 1 card. This is the I bring my thoughts to manifestation. I bring my thoughts to manifestation. What are you thinking? Remember that you're creating your new story. And we talked about how there might be a little bit of doubt that creeps up. Some B-roll memories or some, B-roll distractivity might really start up. Again, focus on you and this Ace of Swords. And again, aces are energy that the universe extends to you. The requirement is that you simply be in gratitude, simply be in receipt of that, and then you have to put it into action. You can't put it in your pocket. You can't say, oh, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. The Magician, that manifestation, right, is think it, see it, think it, witness it, think it, create from it. And so the way that you choose to put that into motion is part of your new story. And that's great, right? This is how we refocus, and this is how we know that what we're doing and the way that we're creating is absolutely enough, right? And just letting that be that new story in and of itself, right? It doesn't require justification. On Tuesday, we've got the Fool and the King of Wands. I mean, what a follow-up, right? So this is the second exact perfection of that squaring between Pluto and the nodes, this time with the moon involved, right? So we're talking about minding your ego. We're talking about speaking your heart and knowing that others have the right to do that. And that union is how we take up that space in between with love. Right, so we have the King of Wands, and the Kings are about mastery. The Kings are, I understand that I'm moving with passion. I understand that I have motivation. Where does that become dedication? And the Fool, of course, the beautiful zero card. This is faith. This is leap and the net will appear. Right, the King of Wands says, yeah, your heart will absolutely do that. Just make sure that the story of union is taken up by being mindful of where the love fits in that story, right? It is your story, but those places where you create connection, right? All of these beautiful intersections, we're going to take up that space with love, right? We're going to make that choice to live as our heart desires and forge and knit those connections in the light of love, right? That's how we move. That's how we move and create that grid in a strong, powerful way. On Wednesday, the Seven of Wands and the Star. Lovely. The Seven of Wands says, where are you defending your victories, right? And if the goal is understanding, if the goal is to see and be seen, if the goal is to feel and be felt, we have to lose our attachments to how we're showing up, right? The Star says, this is a card of wish fulfillment. This is the card of rebuilding. This is hope and optimism. This is choosing your own clarity, choosing your own authenticity. And if you have to put up with a little bit of discomfort, right, a little bit of uncomfortable self-revelation or vulnerability in order to have this overarching presence, be that driving force, be your wish fulfillment, that's okay. It's about clarity. It's about authenticity, right? And this clarity comes straight from the universe, straight from your heart, and allows you to put into action those overarching themes of wish fulfillment and optimism and understanding that cosmic blessing is your very birthright, right? On Thursday, we've got the Two of Swords and we've got the Lovers. First of all, we have dichotomy here in every aspect. So Two of Swords is, I'm caught up in my thoughts, right? I have a couple of conflicting ideas. I'm not quite sure. I might be feeling a little chaos, a little chaotic confusion, right? And the Lover says, you know what? I'm not so sure that that's the case. This is about divine union, certainly, but the Lovers is also a card of choice. And so if you wake up with those feelings of suspicion and insecurity, know that you have that divine sense of self-possession. You have that divine sense of expression. And what we're going to do is allow for our reception to be okay, to be enough. And then we're going to give that other the opportunity to process in their own time, to avoid creating more confusion, to avoid creating more conflict and chaos. And so we're simply going to be in our divine self-expression, and we're going to let that be. And if resolution has to wait, that's okay, right? That's okay, because we're on our time, which is divine time. We don't require the tick-tock demand of, give me this right away, right away. No. We're going to say, okay, this is how I feel. You have the right to process and get back to me. It's all good. Nine of Swords, Ten of Pentacles. Wow, wow, wow. So this is the third exact Pluto node square. And again, Mercury is involved here, of course, because, you know, we have ideas that might drag us down, ideas that might wake us up in the middle of the night. Here's the thing. We have the Ten of Pentacles as our overarching kind of invitation. And the thing is, Ten of Pentacles is legacy, right? This is, look what we've created. Look at our beautiful, happy home. Look at the future that we are in creation of. And what's underneath that, right? Where are we in doubt of that? Where are we in fear? Where do we not believe that that's okay, right? And so we talked about mindset versus doing the work, and having that I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, versus I'm going to do the work to go in and unravel why I believe I might not be worthy, why I might not be able to create that. And we're really going to choose whether or not we're authentically able to claim that that big life. What is underneath it that makes me believe I might not be worthy? Well, that's where we're going to dive in, because that's where our expression is either going to be in alignment or not in alignment, right? And we can feel that. We feel it all the time. If we have those feelings of self-doubt, we have more work to do. That doesn't mean this isn't here. It is. It's just about allowing ourselves to come up to that bigger vision, that more divine vision. So it's about finding ways to safely explore our own self-belief. And if you can't do that on your own, find facilitation, right? 100%. On Saturday, we got the Six of Wands, full-on victory, and the Five of Swords. Conflict, conflict, conflict. So we talked about this as being a daring day, right? That day where we're just going to do a thing. Getting anything that feels antithetical out of our way, right? This is, you are your own limitation. This is where are you blocking yourself? Where are you blocking your fullest expression? What belief is in the way? Again, just do it, right? And if you need to drag some people along who feel like home so that you can be fully supported, by gosh, do it. Absolutely. And when you reflect upon it later, don't put shit in the story that isn't about your bravery. That's not about your victory. That's not about, look what I did, right? Just keep it as the undistilled story itself. Don't question how you got there. Just be glad you did. On Sunday the 30th, we have the Emperor and the Nine of Pentacles. So the Emperor, this is King of Kings energy, right? This is a little bit one step back. This is a little bit reserved. And the Nine of Pentacles is, wow, I am fully self-sufficient, right? Are we really following someone else's rules, or are we creating our own? Again, we talked about this as a beautiful day to get shit done and really be all in, especially if it's a long-term project, right? You understand the game of how to get there, and that is to tell the story while you're doing it, getting your space in order, visualizing what you want. And maybe it's not what's been there before. This might be a fully new expression, whether it's deep cleaning, deep cluttering, or redecorating, right? And embedding the vision into the new, right? Come on, look, you've got your own castle. You've got your own everything. You know how to do it. And just because it wasn't that way always doesn't mean that you're stuck. That new vision is what's going to grow. That new vision is what's going to amplify. Call in your purpose. Perhaps not the purpose of the crap that's always been there, right? Create your new habit, create your new pattern, and do it because you know that you can. So we're talking a lot about getting shit done this week, and we're talking a lot about your energy underneath that. And the key is to just do it, but also do the work to make sure that what you're doing is really creating that new energy and not just telling a story without understanding why, right? The why behind it is always going to allow you to do it bigger, do it more authentically. And then we have this gorgeous, come on, that's beautiful. I understand that we're talking about overflow and overwhelm, but doggone, that card is gorgeous. Yeah, let's see what we've got to say here. So many good things are headed your way or are already occurring in your life right now. Yet, you may be thinking they're not possible or you're not worthy of them. Well, no kidding, right? Abundance is everyone's natural state. Before we project our restrictions onto it. Wow. Listen, y'all, this card tried to come out twice, and it just did, so it was definitely the message. Defining what it means, who has it, who gets it, and so forth. Right now, take yourself out of your conditioning and look at life through the eyes of plenty. There is so much beauty and love. Opportunities and divine synchronicities are designed, right? Designed to support your dreams. Whew. And they are lined up for you. Yet, it's sometimes difficult to discern it all because you're bombarded with too much information and stimulation, and it distracts you from the truth that all is well. Sometimes all this overflow can be overwhelming, and you may find yourself responding with empathy overload. Empathy overload occurs when you tune into the collective angst and fear about impending changes and uncertainties. It feels unmanageable, and you feel like you're drowning in emotions, right? We have all of this dichotomy this week, right? It's time to allow yourself to detach, to bring yourself back to your life, to restore your faith in a power greater than you, and remind yourself to focus on your smaller personal universe, which is much easier to manage. In this way, you know that you are a conduit for life's blessings and that you can share them with others, making this perception of overflow profoundly positive. Look, we talked about this in almost every single dichotomy. So focus on any way that you believe that you should not have or be or become whatever it is that you choose to become, wherever your desire is leading you, right? And really be in awareness of the difference between your mindset and your work. It's a big distinction, and grasping it can allow you to move through all of the nonsense into the yummy, right? So focus on the juice and not the old stuff, and take care, right? Beautiful. Big blessings, guys. See you next week.